Hello everybody, welcome once again to your own channel Krishna Singhdeo. We are meeting here for class 12 students. So students, we have started the chapter of issue of share in the previous class and today we are into lecture 2. So in the previous class, whatever is being taught, I would advise all of you to revise properly before start viewing this lecture, and in today's lecture we are going to do a lot more new concepts. Let's get started. Will understand how to how to pass the entries regarding issue of shares at premium. So today's topic is issue of shares at premium. So whenever the company is issuing the share at premium, understand what does it mean. It means that if the face value of your share is 100, it is being issued at 105 rupees or 110 rupees or 115 rupees, 120 rupees, or in short, I can say any amount which is greater than 100 rupees is known as issue of shares at premium. As per Companies Act 2013, this extra amount which company is charging from public could be anything. There is no restriction on how much this amount could be. It can be 200, 300% as well. But only restriction is that what extra money the company is taking from public as premium has to be put in the separate account which is known as security premium account, and there are restricted uses of this account. Why? So that the directors do not misuse this money, and which is hard-earned money of public is not misused. So whatever extra amount is coming, extra is known as premium, and this goes to a special account. That account is known as securities premium. So this account has to be dealt separately. Securities premium account has to be dealt separately. So what is the impact of this in the journal entries? If I talk about the issue of shares in lump sum, then there won't be any effect, though we haven't learned those entries yet, but we will be doing it in today's class only. When I'm talking about those entries where the company is asking for amount in the installments. So let's say the 100 rupees share is issued for 110 and company is asking for rupees 40 at the time of application, and rupees 30 which is something like this allotment, which is something like this 20 plus 10. What is 20 plus 10? 20 rupees for share capital and 10 rupees premium money is included over there. Then let's say another 30 is on first call and still 10 rupees is left. Okay, 40 plus 30 70, 70 plus 30 is 100, but still 10 rupees is left which is on the final call. Why? Because the share is of 110 rupees now. Now what will be the impact of this on the journal entries? Let us understand that. So the first journal entry will remain same. Let us assume a figure that how much shares are issued by the company. Let's say company has issued 1000 shares. 1000 shares are issued. So the first entry will remain same as we had done in the issue of shares at par. Bank account will be debited and equity share application account will be credited. Equity share application account is going to be credited, which is rupees 1000 multiplied by 40. 40 rupees is application money. So I'm multiplying it with this 40 rupees. So your amount is going to be 40,000. Narration, I'm skipping to write over here. Where it is necessary, I will write, which is new for you. This we had already done. So being application money received is the narration for this. Now, second one, I had told you earlier also, this is a temporary account which need to be transferred to share capital. So now we will close this account. Equity share application account will be debited and we will transfer to equity share capital. Again the same amount, which is 40,000 rupees. Now this third entry is going to be important entry. So I'm putting a star mark over here because here we have to deal with security premium. So this is due entry. I had told you in the previous class also, only in the application it happens so that first you receive the money and then it is transferred to share capital. But from the allotment onwards, it happens so that first you're asking the public to pay the money and then it is getting transferred to, then you're receiving, it is getting transferred in the first entry itself to equity share capital. So here the entry is going to be equity share allotment account debit to equity share capital. And one additional thing is going to come over here, which is known as security premium. Why? Because additional 10 rupees are taken from public. So this account is known as securities premium. Security premium was 10 rupees. 10 rupees multiplied by 1000. So this is 10,000. Then if I talk about 30 was bifurcated into two parts, 20 belonging to share capital. So 20 will be transferred to share capital, which is 20,000, and altogether how much you're asking from public is 30 rupees. So 30 multiplied by 1000, 30,000 rupees is asked from the public. Okay, so the first entry, the first debit side is going to be all 30 rupees. Allotment money altogether 30 rupees is taken from public, but company internally is transferring out of this 30 rupees to share capital 20 rupees and 10 rupees to securities premium. Now the next entry is going to be the receiving entry. Okay, so yeah, I will write down the narration for this because I told you whatever is new, I will write narration for this. So narration for this entry, which is known as due entry, is going to be being allotment money due with the premium of rupees 10 each, 10 each, no, 10 per share, 10 per share. Okay, so like this, if you want, you can specify the number of share also, but I would tell you write your narration crisp so that you do not waste too much of time in writing the narration, because only for writing the narration, no additional marks are there. But yeah, if you do not write the narration, your marks will be deducted. Now the next entry is of receiving the amount. So receiving the amount, the same entry what we had done when we issue the share at par. So it is going to be bank account debit to equity share allotment. This equity share allotment account will be closed. And the amount is 30,000 rupees. After this, the entries are almost same, or same, not almost, same what we had done in the previous class. We are going to write the first call due entry. So the entry is equity share first call account debit to equity share capital. Here we are going to write down rupees 30 multiplied by 1000 shares. So it is 30,000. Now you will receive this amount from public. So the entry is going to be bank account debit to equity share first call account 30,000 rupees. You receive 30,000 rupees on first call from public. Now the final call getting due. So your seventh entry is equity share final call account debit to equity share capital. and this is 10 multiplied by 1000, so 10,000 rupees. Next is receiving this final call from public, so the entry is going to be bank account debit to equity share final call account. So the amount is 10,000. I hope you understood this, students. Let us revise once again. The only allotment entry and that to due entry is different in this case when the shares are issued at premium. So in allotment, you see we have done equity share allotment account debit. Over here, I will mark it with a different color pen. So this is 30,000 rupees. 30 rupees were due at the time of allotment, but 20 rupees out of this goes to capital. So equity share capital will be credited with 20 rupees, whereas security premium account is getting credited with rupees 10. Why? Because allotment was 30 rupees and 30, the bifurcation was 20 and 10. So this is the only entry which is different, otherwise rest of the question is same. Now today we will understand how to pass the entry when the amount is taken in lump sum. Remember in the previous class what I had taught you, that when company takes money from the public, it has two options, and two options are taking the money in lump sum, this one I had explained in the previous class, or taking the money in installment. So installment we have dealt in both the cases, whether company is issuing the shares in premium on premium or at par. This part we are going to do just now, how to pass the journal entries when company is issuing shares at par and taking the entire amount in one go, or when the company is issuing shares at premium and taking the entire amount at one go. So let's see. You can write down the heading, receiving the amount from public in lump sum. So let's say issued amount is, issued number of shares is 1000 shares at rupees 10 each. So how are we going to pass the journal entry for this? There will be journal entry slightly different. We will write bank account debit to equity share, be careful, equity share application and allotment. Yes, whenever the entire amount is taken in one go, there is going to be a combined entry, application and allotment, joint account will be there, okay, because this money is received and this shares will be allotted. Otherwise when we take in in different installment, first application money comes, if the shares is not allotted, its money will be rejected, and then allotment money is asked. But here you are taking it all together. That is why you will have to open a joint account, application and allotment account. So here the entry will be 1000 shares of rupees 10 each, means whole 10,000 rupees you have received from the public, and you will close this account because it is a temporary account. So in the second entry you are going to write equity share application and allotment account debit to equity share capital. ₹10,000. Now let us understand. I hope you got it. Only difference is there, instead of equity share application we have opened a joint account, equity share application and allotment, and only these two entries are going to be there. There won't be any other entry because everything you have taken in one installment only or in lump sum. Now if we have issued the share at premium, what should be the entry for that. Let's say issued 1000 shares at rupees 15. 5 rupees is premium amount. Then how are we going to deal with this? Let us see. The first entry will remain unaffected. First entry will remain same as we had done in the previous case, where bank account is going to be debited to equity share application and allotment. So this is 15 multiplied by 1000. So you are receiving 15,000 from public. Receiving is not a problem, but when you transfer this money, it has to go to two different accounts. So in the second entry, you will see change. We will debit this temporary account or close it. Equity share, application and allotment. Account debit to equity share capital and to securities premium, wherein you will transfer this account will be debited with same amount with which it was credited. You will transfer 10 rupees per share to equity share capital, means 10,000 rupees will be transferred to equity share capital and 5 rupees will be transferred to equity share to securities premium. So 5,000 rupees is transferred to securities premium. So only two entries are going to come here also. Whenever we are taking the amount in lump sum, the number of entries reduce. Only the bank account to number of bank account to equity share application and allotment entry, and the next entry is going to be equity share allotment application and allotment account debit to equity share capital and security premium. So treatment of security premium is always going to be different. Only this thing has to be kept in mind. I hope student today's both the concepts you have understood very well. Now we will be meeting in the next class where we will understand few more concepts, and related to these two concepts what we have learned till now, we will be solving few questions also. Till then, bye, have a great day, and yes, if you have not yet subscribed the channel, don't forget to subscribe.